I lied. Okay, I didn't lie. I just miscalculated badly. A couple of posts ago, I told you I was going to go bi-weekly. I had this whole plan, high production video, fancy edits, all that. And then I posted an audio version last week just to get something out there. I felt like posting bi-weekly just wasn't frequent enough, especially with all of the things that are happening with Pesto Comics this year. And I wanted the opportunity to share as much as I could as often as possible. So I thought, hey, I'll do audio one week and video the next week. And then as I was recording the video, I thought, why am I doing this? And then I looked at the numbers for the audio that I had posted last week, and I saw that it was doing just as well as the video. Even on YouTube, which is, you would think, video forward. And you think text on a screen wouldn't be nearly as engaging as me talking into the camera and bringing up visuals every 20, 30 seconds just to try to keep you engaged for the 4 minutes that I was willing to get a video together for. Instead, just turning on the mic and just being honest for what I would think was way too long ended up being the best way to go about it. So I made a decision. We're going back to that. As much as I enjoyed experimenting with the video and trying to make it on YouTube and get more subscribers there, I think there's going to be a bit of a pivot in how I accomplish that. It doesn't mean that I'm giving up on it entirely, but just a change in strategy. And one of the biggest changes that you, dear listener, will find is that I'm going to be focusing on the audio. So less about talking about the things that are happening behind me that you can't see or things that come up on screen that you can't see. It's going to be me just talking directly with you and a little more uncut and clear, a little less scripted, just me telling you what's on my mind, which is what I think you're here for. Now, one thing I will say is I do feel like I'm letting the film school kid in me down a little bit. I was really looking forward to having a slick and polished YouTube channel, but with everything else that's going on with Pesto Comics, which is fulfilling a whole nother dream and is a lot further down the road, I think it's a little bit too much at once. Videos that I was putting together weren't what I wanted. I was a little too worried about the background that I had in my videos. The videos I was able to put together weren't exactly what I wanted to do anyway. I could never get them to that really refined quality. I wanted them to look extra slick. I wanted to have all kinds of visuals and all kinds of things to really make it pop. Instead, it looked decent, but it was never quite to the quality I wanted, and the amount of effort I needed to put in just to get it to there ended up being quite a bit. It got me thinking, why am I doing it? Am I doing it because the film school kid in me wanted it to happen? Or was it that I thought I could get more readers in if I was aiming to be a bit more visual? Being entirely honest, the future of the internet seems to be video. And if you'll indulge me for a moment, I want to tell you about my past. So before I was a film school kid, I wanted to be a game designer. This was the original. Like when I was in high school, what do you see yourself as? I saw myself as a game designer. I thought that's what I was going to do. I was really into the whole new era of 3D gaming. That gives away my age just a little bit. But I had this Mark Saltzman book. He wrote a book about creating video games, and that was going to be my guidebook into creating games. I was in 9th grade, and you do those surveys saying, where do you think you'll end up? And programming was one of them. Like I seem to have somewhat of a logical brain, and my day job would tell you that too. I work in IT, managing databases and things like that. So not entirely unsurprising. But for me, being a half creative person, thinking that I want to do something creative with this logical brain of mine, I thought game design was the perfect parlay into that. And then I hit grade 10 math and just did not. It just did not work for me. And that was the starting point. And I thought, if I'm having a hard time now, I can only imagine how much worse it's going to get. So I pivoted. And I thought, well, what's close to games? What can get me closer to what I want to do? And you think the obvious thing would be film. But as I was researching film schools and all that stuff, one thing that really caught my eye, one thing I was actually a fan of just driving around Toronto and having the radio on, was listening to the radio. So even to this day, I'm an old man. I listen to AM radio. I have for decades now, right? I'm a big fan of just conversation. So like podcasts and that for me were absolutely game changing. It was, now I could listen to any topic. It's not just local news and local politics. I could listen to literally anything. So again, if I was smarter and a little more on top of things, maybe I would have got a podcast going, 20 years ago. And who knows where I'd be now, but whatever. Anyways, the point was I wanted to get into radio. And that was until I saw what it takes to get into radio. It wasn't this so dissimilar from film. So again, had I known that, maybe I would have gone in a different direction. But I knew with radio, there was a lot of expectation for you to do a lot of free work. And you may have to move somewhere in the country, like an hour north of Winnipeg. And you're working for free. and you got to pay your dues until somebody gives you a shot to be in front of a microphone for the 3 a.m. slot where there's 12 listeners. And I thought, well, that's all well and good. And not that I wasn't willing to pay my dues, but given that the end of the rainbow was that I would be barely making any money unless I became like a morning show host or something like that, it just felt like less and less opportunity. So I thought, what has the most opportunity, especially living in Toronto? It's film. I thought, again, silly me. But I thought film was the way to go because I saw everybody working in film. And I'm not that far from it. You know, my wife, who went to fashion school, actually works in film today. So it's kind of funny how that all plays out. But all this to say, my dreams have pivoted left and right. And comics were the through line throughout. And I've talked about that in the past. I've always wanted to write comics. I just never thought it was a viable thing. I thought film was the way to be viable. And I would do comics once I've established myself elsewhere. And the truth is, I've established myself in IT, and it's given me a decent career that gives me some stability that I can try to get Pesto Comics up to a level where it's running its own business. And we have 98 weeks left to do that, by the way. I talked about that a couple posts ago, that I'm really trying to build this business in such a way that it can sustain itself completely within 98 weeks from today. We'll see how that all goes, and I'll keep you updated each week. And that's the whole point of doing this audio, is that one, I get to fulfill that AM radio version of myself that I thought I'd always be. But two, I get to keep you updated week by week by week of exactly how this is all going. The hope is, that I'm doing this full time. I'm spending all of my energy in making comics and getting comics together with other creators, not just myself. And really just making a go of it. Really trying to build a true business from the ground up. But my point in all of this is experimentation is very important. And that means you double down on what's working and you cut what doesn't. So for me, video, although it's working to a degree, wasn't working entirely, so I'm cutting it, at least in the long form. I'm still going to be pushing the shorts. Those are doing really well. When I'm looking at just the shorts on my YouTube, I'm already at 175,000 views. That's insane. The reach we're getting on that, and if I count the Instagram that's also growing through Reels, it really does show that it's a great discovery engine. So I'm still going to be doing video. I'm just not going to be doing long form video. I'll be doing 15 to 20 second videos. I'm going to try to post those daily as much as possible. Sometimes more than daily. Sometimes I'll have 2 to 3 a day, depending on if there's something going on. But the point is, I'm going to take the energy that I was spending trying to think of a really well thought out post for video and trying to pare it down and trying to make it engaging and trying to make something happen every 20 seconds. I'm going to take all that energy, I'm going to put it into shorts, and then I'm going to use this Thursday post to just talk, to just let you guys know what's going on, to keep you updated, to share as much as I can. That said, I'm not getting rid of long form video entirely either. I'm still going to do con journals and things like that when there's something that actually adds value for you to see, when I want to share what's going on. Like if it makes sense to do something as a vlog, to be like, hey, I'm going to San Diego, which by the way, I just got my pro pass for San Diego. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there the whole weekend, which is very exciting. And I want to share that with you. So I'll certainly share that as video. However, when it's something that doesn't make sense to share as video and it just makes sense for me to just talk through it, I'll do that. And if it's something I can even do more frequently, I'll do that too. Or if it's me going to comic shops and I'm spending more time than just the little bit I'm doing dropping things off now, if you've been following the shorts, then I'll certainly share that too. But I still want to reach people in their email, and maybe they don't want to hear me ramble on for 20 minutes in a podcast every week. So what I'll be sharing very soon is 2 new mailing lists, one for retailers, which is just strictly, here is FOC information, these are the codes to order, here are specials we're doing, yada yada. You can join that as well, even if you're not a retailer, but it's probably not something you're going to be terribly interested in. What you might want to see, if you're not a retailer, is the reader mailing list. So that one I'm going to keep just strictly sales. So this will be a new campaign is launching. The early bird's ending. This is an FOC that's coming up. This is an in-store date. This is a new series we're launching, right? So all of the pure marketing, we're going to put in a separate mailing list. I'm still going to bring it up here, of course, because it's just part of the journey and part of what I'm doing. But if you want like the ad copy, you want to see what's coming out from Pesto Comics so that you're on top of all of it, we're going to make a separate mailing list that'll email you and just tell you, hey, this is coming, check this out, that kind of business. And then, of course, there's the deep dives. So, con journals and all that are fun. And me rambling on about whatever topics on my mind, like this week, the theme is experimentation. But sometimes it's a postmortem. Sometimes it's looking at a campaign and digging into the numbers. And that, I created a separate Substack. It's called the Pesto Vault. So I'm going to move all of my postmortems from this newsletter over to there. all of the paid posts that I created are going over there. And then for previous paid subscribers, I'm going to comp you some time on the new one. And we're going to have a paid tier as well, again, for the same reason we had it before, which is just to put a little bit of a barrier so that when I share some deep financial data, it's not just going out into the world and available via Google search and all that stuff. Like there's some kind of wall so that people can't just like look up everything that we're doing. And it's not so much just to make a profit. It's really just to put a wall up so I make it as cheap as Substack will allow me. That's not quite ready yet, but I'll share that as soon as it is. So my point is I've been experimenting a lot, and I think I have a really good strategy of where to segment everything, and more importantly, where the energy needs to be put as far as newsletters and marketing and all that stuff goes in the future. So I think the experiments have paid off to a degree, because now I know where to put my energy, what I'm going to enjoy doing, and how to segment things for the audience to make sure that you, if you're listening to this, are getting what you want out of this and what new viewers and readers and listeners might get, and while still trying to collect new viewers who will become new readers, who hopefully will become new listeners down the line as well. But it's making sure that we have different things for different folks. And again, I know you guys, if you're still listening, this is what you've been here for, and this is hopefully what you'll stick around for. So let me know if that's not true. You can always comment. Again, that was another reason for taking down the paywall, so that anyone listening can comment. So please do let me know what you think about all of this. So there's a saying I really like. It's experience is the best teacher, but the tuition is high. It always reminds me that even though I'm experimenting, even though I'm trying things, it's all going into my education, right? It's not a loss. I tried things, they didn't work. These videos aren't exactly where I want them to be. I'm getting, a couple dozen views on each one, and I'm spending the whole week that I could have been writing more comics, time that I could have been getting some of the paperwork and things that I need to get together instead of staying up all night to do it because I've been focusing on editing a video all day, right? All of this time that I've been spending trying to do something that wasn't really bringing a return is taught me a lesson of where my energy is better served and, frankly, what I'm getting out of it. I really enjoy talking to you guys. I really enjoy sharing everything that's happening. This has been like a live journal for me, and I hope it's been very insightful for you to just see what it's like to start from nothing. In 2023, I got started with Unlimited Udo as my first book, and the whole goal of that was just seeing a book through to the end, right? Seeing that I can actually make a comic and get it in my hands. And I did that. And then I got addicted to it. And then I got Stay Cool Out There and Crazy Latte Thing Called Love and From Parts Unknown and Naked KAIJU Woman. And each one was an experiment in its own, right? And this was the whole idea, was with each thing I wanted to learn something new. And now I'm at a whole new stage. We're entering the direct market. I'm trying to build a slate. I'm trying to really think 2-3 years in advance. I'm trying to build a proper business. Like we're getting business loans so that I can pay artists well in advance, right? So we can get proper production timelines in place, and I can get artists that I've been working with properly paid on a regular basis rather than, waiting for a Kickstarter to fund so I can give them the back half and all that business. It's making sure that people are paid on time and art's coming through on a regular schedule and all that. And it's really all the business side of things is getting too big to ignore, but I still want to have that outlet with you guys. I still want to be able to share what this journey has been like and just be as open and transparent as possible. It's one of the few things I can offer that isn't really costing me anything except some time, and I'm enjoying doing it, so I'm happy to do it. And again, it lets me fulfill that old AM radio dream that I've always had, to just be in the mic and just let you know what's going on and share all of the business. So with that, I'm going to thank you for being here. I'm going to be here next week, and I'll be here every week for as long as I possibly can, sharing as much as I possibly can, and we're going to be doing it via audio. So sign up with your favorite podcast player, in YouTube included. I'm going to still be posting videos. It's just you won't see my face nearly as often. But I'll be on YouTube. I'll be on Spotify. I'll be on Pocket Casts. I'll be on whatever you're using to listen to your podcasts. But of course, I'll also be on Substack if you're subscribing through there and listening through there. So I just want to make it as easy as possible for you to come along with this ride. And please comment on whatever platform you're listening to, and I'll do my best to answer you. And I want to thank you, as always, for being here. We'll talk again next week. Have a good one. Oh, and one more thing before I go. If you haven't checked out SNIP on Kickstarter, you can find that until March 13th. So on Kickstarter, look for SNIP 1 and 2. You'll find it there. Or go to bit.ly/SNIP1comic and back it today. It's doing really well already, but I'm hoping it can do even better and get in even more hands so that we can really make this business fly. So with that, thanks for being here. We'll talk again soon.